everybody. We're back with one of the hosts of CBS This Morning, Gayle King. Gayle, today marks the first anniversary of George Floyd's death. And I know that you were in Minneapolis covering the trial and eventual conviction of Derek Chauvin for Floyd's murder. How do you think this last year and what was sparked, the awareness and the movement that was sparked by Floyd's death a year ago, how do you think it has changed not only how Black Lives Matter and that movement is perceived, but the country as a whole and how we talk about race?
Well, listen, I am so grateful for the conversation, Stephen, because we all remember watching that horrible death. It was one of those things that you couldn't believe that you were watching it, the callousness of it, the nonchalance of it. And you thought, if this doesn't change the game, I don't know what will. And the thing that was so gratifying to me personally was to see not just blacks, but it was blacks and whites, young and old, took to the streets to say, this is not okay and things have got to change. Have they changed yet? No, because we've still had case after case. That hashtag list is still growing, but at least the conversation is still very front and center. You know, when I was in Minneapolis, I got to go to the George Floyd Square because I wanted to see for myself. I went into the Cup Foods. I wanted to see exactly what that was like. And it was a sacred space. And I don't want us to lose sight of what's at stake here. We still have a lot of work to do.
Well, President Biden hosted George Floyd's family today at the White House. But the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, as I believe it's called, has yet to pass Congress. Do you, as you say, it hasn't changed yet. Do you have hope that the movement this spark will continue, the pressure will continue, and there will actually be this kind of substantive change that's necessary?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't see any signs of people letting up on the conversation. I don't see people thinking that I don't see people retreating from this. We had Senator Cory Booker on this morning, who was very involved with this, and Tim Scott. Cory, as you know, is a Democrat. Senator Tim Scott is a Republican. They're both black men, as you know, and as Cory pointed out, they have life experiences in dealing with this issue with the police. And I think for the first time that maybe it's gaining traction on both sides of the aisle with the two of them working together. You know, I don't know. If we can't lead to change after what we witnessed with George Floyd and we're witnessing with Ronald Green, I honestly don't know what it's going to take. You know, there hasn't been any significant change in policing and reforms and these kind of bills since Rodney King. So now I think that we're at a place where at least people are paying attention, and you've got people, black and white, on both sides of the aisle. But it's an uphill climb still, and it saddens me that we're still sitting here in 2021 having this conversation.
Well, speaking of 2021, next week marks the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre, when hundreds of
travesty, yes.
Yeah, hundreds of 300, at least 300 people, black members of the Tulsa, citizens of Tulsa, were killed. And I understand that next Monday you're going to be hosting, anchoring a special about it. What can we expect?
Yeah, on the 100th anniversary. Listen, this was something that it was a combination of hatred and jealousy that led to the slaughter, the massacre of what was known as Black Wall Street, where you had professional blacks who were very economically solid. By the time, you know, it was described to me this way: 18 hours of sheer terror, where people were just deputized at random to go and kill black people. There was an incident involving a teenage black boy and a teenage white girl in an elevator. It's believed that he tripped and fell on her. She started screaming and crying, and then before you know it, the first shots were fired. There's all sort of no one really knows who fired the first shot, but what they know is after that was 18 hours of terror. And when it was all over, Black Wall Street was burned down to the ground. You know, there were, at the time, 600 very thriving businesses, black businesses. Today, there are only 26. And so the problem is no one ever paid for the crime. You know, there is not black generational wealth passed on in families. And it's stories like that, which is why it's those kind of stories in Tulsa, Oklahoma, why there is so much controversy about not having Black generational wealth. It was described to me this way. For instance, a hotel was worth $100,000 at that time. Today could have been worth $100 million. Who knows what that business could have been? Who knows what the chain could have been? But none of that money was passed on to Black family members. And when you look at the people that died that day, very successful professional Blacks, for what reason? So now there is a whole big groundswell to how can we make this right? What is the right and what is the fair thing to do? And I talked to, 3 living survivors, they're 106 and 107, who still remember that day, and they were just little kids at the time.
And not only did this crime happen, but there was a concerted effort to erase any memory of the crime so that there would never be any accountability, which is why it's all the more important that on this 100th anniversary that shows like this broadcast to remind everybody of the history of this kind of oppression. So thank you, Gayle.
Stephen, let me tell you this. I'm so glad you brought up that point. Not only did they try to erase it, most people don't even know about it, including the people living in Tulsa. I didn't know about it till at least, 20 years ago. I didn't even know about it. Somebody said, well, of course you've heard of it. I had never heard of it. It's not taught in schools anywhere. That's changing. But Black people and white people didn't know about that. That's wrong. So we want to change that.
Well, Tulsa 1921, An American Tragedy, airs next Monday at 10 p.m. on CBS. CBS This Morning airs weekdays on CBS from 7 to 9. Gayle King, everybody.
I hope you'll do a pop-in tomorrow, Stephen. I hope you'll do a pop-in.
It's all up to Chris. We'll be right back with a performance by BTS. Thanks, Gayle.